In the grand pantheon of comic book animals, Crypto the Superdog, Lockjaw of the Inhumans, Howard the Duck, and even Rocket Raccoon, you might not expect the humble Dalmatian to carry much symbolic weight. After all, what powers do they have? No laser vision, no telepathy, no galaxy-saving backstory, just spots. And yet, every time a Dalmatian trots into a comic book panel, there's often more happening than meets the eye. These black and white dogs might not wear capes, but they carry a legacy, one tied to heroism, chaos, innocence, and the very language of visual storytelling. Let's explore the quietly iconic role of Dalmatians in comic books and why superhero fans should give them a second look. Dalmatians are historically linked to firehouses. In the days of horse-drawn fire engines, they ran beside the rigs, calming the horses and guarding the gear. Over time, they became mascots, symbols of bravery, loyalty, and public service. In comic books, this association translates with perfect logic, and then explodes into glorious weirdness. Sparky the Fire Dog is the official mascot of the National Fire Protection Association, an organization dedicated to reducing fire-related injuries and deaths through education and advocacy. First introduced in 1951, Sparky was created as a friendly, approachable figure to help teach children about the importance of fire safety. Designed as a Dalmatian, Sparky wears traditional firefighter gear, including a helmet and turnout coat, symbolizing bravery and preparedness. Over the decades, Sparky has become a widely recognized figure in schools, libraries, and community events across the United States and beyond. He appears in many educational materials, including comic books, all tailored to teach children vital fire prevention tips in a way that's engaging and age-appropriate. From lessons on stop, drop, and roll to creating family escape plans, Sparky's mission is to make life-saving information accessible and memorable. Now let's talk about DC's Atomic Knights, a group of post-apocalyptic warriors introduced in the early 1960s in Strange Adventures. These armored do-gooders roam the wastelands of a ruined 1992, cleaning up after the fictional Hydrogen War of 1986. But the most enduring image of the Atomic Knights isn't their medieval gear or retro-futuristic weapons, it's the fact that they ride into battle on giant Dalmatians. In Strange Adventures number 138, 1962, the Knights discover an old rocket marked MR 1909, which had been sent to the North Pole pre-war with 2 Dalmatians aboard to test radiation levels. Against all odds and all logic, the dogs survive the war, grow to the size of horses, and start galloping through cornfields like mythical beasts from a Cold War fever dream. The Knights name them Goliath and Hercules, adopt them as mounts, and ride them proudly. It's absurd, it's unforgettable, and somehow it makes sense. In a world ravaged by war, it's the spotted dogs, mutated, loyal, and massive, that help rebuild hope. And if that's not peak Silver Age optimism, what is? Later reboots would retcon the whole saga as a dream, typical, but fans still remember the image: 6 knights in shining armor, thundering across a barren landscape on the backs of Dalmatian warhounds. A comic book fever dream? Absolutely. But also proof that even in the strangest corners of superhero history, the Dalmatian persists, not just as a symbol, but as a savior. Of course, not all Dalmatians in comics are notable steeds or heroic mascots. Sometimes they become tragic monsters. In Marvel's Earth 616 continuity, a Dalmatian named Dempsey was the first evolutionary experiment of Herbert Wyndham, better known as the High Evolutionary. Using a generic accelerator, Wyndham turned Dempsey into a humanoid creature with leaping abilities. But Dempsey, still a non-intelligent animal, panicked and fled. He was shot dead by hunters before he ever had the chance to understand what he had become. His story is brief and heartbreaking. A spotted Frankenstein's monster. No moral arc, just an experiment gone wrong. But even here, the Dalmatian serves a function. A reminder of science's ambition, the fine line between man and beast, and the danger of forcing evolution before understanding. Beyond heroism and horror, Dalmatians represent something subtler and arguably more powerful. Their coats are a visual metaphor. Black spots on white fur, light and dark, chaos and order, yin and yang. They embody the eternal tug of war between good and evil, reminding us that few characters and few people are ever just one thing. They don't need dialogue. Their spots say enough. Not all comic book Dalmatians are riding into battle or escaping from labs. Sometimes they're just there to lighten the mood, or ground a story in visual familiarity. In Archie comics, Dalmatians make multiple appearances as background dogs, friendly pets, or mischief makers, like Domino, the Dalmatian from Wilbur Comics, who added a dose of slapstick chaos to an otherwise wholesome series. Their presence is unassuming, but unmistakable, a symbol of suburban comfort, of mid-century Americana, of sitcom-style charm. And then, of course, there's the Dalmatian dynasty of Disney. Based on Dodie Smith's 1956 novel, The 101 Dalmatians, Disney's 101 Dalmatians became a cultural juggernaut, spawning animated classics, live-action adaptations, and a slew of comic books featuring Pongo, Perdita, and their massive puppy squad. In comics, these dogs embody teamwork, wit, courage, and, of course, adorableness. Across universes and publishers, the spotted dog remains an icon. One of the most powerful uses of Dalmatians in comics is as a stand-in for innocence itself. Think of the puppies in 101 Dalmatians. Their black and white fuzziness becomes a symbol for childhood, pure, playful, and vulnerable to cruelty. They're emotional anchors, and in many Disney comic adaptations, the pups are point-of-view characters, helping young readers navigate fear, loyalty, and hope. Finally, let's get a little artsy. Dalmatians look fantastic on the comic book page. Their spots break up visual space, add contrast, and draw the eye. Even when placed in the background, they pop, adding texture and motion. In experimental or surreal comics, a Dalmatian might not even be a literal dog, but a symbol of contradiction, of imperfection, of the unresolved. Their coats are punctuations. The spots can be read as visual jazz, noisy, unpredictable, and poetic. Dalmatians in comics may not leap tall buildings or fire plasma blasts, but they do have a kind of superpower. They are instantly recognizable, emotionally resonant, and symbolically rich. They can represent heroism, innocence, duality, absurdity, even tragedy. So the next time you spot one curled up next to Archie, charging into battle beside an atomic knight, or dodging Cruella de Vil's henchmen, pause. Don't just see the dog, see the metaphor. Because in the world of comics, being visually iconic and emotionally potent, that's its own kind of superpower.